With all the hacks that's been happening recently, priority number one has to be security and safeguarding your crypto. You are your own bank, so of course you want to safeguard it as well as you can. Otherwise, it could disappear in a blink of an eye. And it just so happens I came across an article that talks about the top 10 security tips when it comes to cryptocurrency. So let's take a look at this together and let me share more thoughts about it. So looking at number one, this is just a blanket measure, basically just to take security seriously. Many people come into the crypto space do not realize that buying crypto is very different than saying buying stocks or options or futures. Buying crypto actually means you own that crypto. It's a digital currency. Taking security measures seriously, I think this is just an overall statement, overall measure mindset. When it comes to crypto, you have to take security seriously. Now, number two is using complex passwords. And this is a blanket thing for all of your passwords. Your email, your computer, your phone, your exchange accounts, any account that you use, try to use a complex password. Try not to use password as your password. Okay, and this is important, especially with crypto, because a lot of exchanges, obviously people try to hack into them. So if you don't have a complex password, your account could be hacked into. Also, password recovery. A lot of people don't remember that the password recovery procedure basically sends an email to your Gmail or wherever, right? Asking you if you want to reset. So if they're able to crack your email, then they're able to reset your password too. So that's why securing your Gmail, right, or Yahoo Mail or whatever you use is also important. Obviously, using complex password on your phone, right? Use a PIN, use biometrics, use facial recognition, something that basically makes it impossible for a hacker to get into. And the same with your computer. Okay, try to use a complex password so it makes it harder for someone to try to hack into your computer if they happen to try, right? So number two is just security overall. Use complex passwords. And there are procedures that make it even more secure when it comes to your email and exchange accounts. We'll get to that in a little bit. Number three is avoid public Wi-Fi. This is important, though not as important as some of the other steps or measures within here, right? The reason why you want to avoid public Wi-Fi is the fact that there may be a hacker that's using some kind of software to sniff packets, and possibly they can look at your traffic and determine what keystrokes, what passwords you use. This is not very likely unless you are specifically being targeted. Also, I have seen where certain public places, there will be a hacker that'll set up some kind of access point, some kind of Wi-Fi access where they'll label it like free Wi-Fi, and then you connect to it, right? I have heard of that before. I haven't seen it myself. You don't hear that very often, but you know, it could happen. So basically, if they set up a free access point and you connect to it, then they will try to crack your computer and also try to sniff your packets, your IP, and so forth, right? So this one I don't think happens that often, but if you want to safeguard yourself, number one, yes, you just avoid public Wi-Fi altogether. Number two is you could get a VPN. You could download a VPN like NordVPN, right, and utilize a VPN service, and that pretty much eliminates everything that I've just said. So that's number three. And by the way, if you want to get NordVPN for this or for any other reason, utilize my link in the description of this video. All right, number four, beware of phishing scams. Well, phishing scams has been around forever, since the invention of the internet. And this is one of the most popular scams out there. And one of the main reasons why so many people get hacked. A lot of times you hear about something get hacked, and it has nothing to do with that project or company being hacked. It's due to phishing scams, which is basically an email being sent to you. And, you know, there's an attachment. There could be like what looks like a PDF file or Excel file or some kind of attachment file, right? and it looks like a legit email, and then you happen to click in that attachment, and the attachment is not what it seems, and then it downloads like a virus or a malware to your computer. And then that's trouble because you don't even know it. And then later on, when you try to access the internet, try to access your exchange, access your email, it'll be able to log what you're typing, and also be able to see exactly where you're going, where all your accounts are, right? And see what your passwords are. So this is very dangerous. And a lot of times they also pretend like they're from exchange or from a wallet or something. And they may send you an email saying, oh yeah, you know what? We need you to do an upgrade, something like that. And you click on a link. I've seen that before. And sometimes they ask you blankly like, hey, send us some crypto or something. They'll give you their address. I don't think many people fall for those kind of phishing scams, but, you know, I have seen them before, right? So phishing scams is harder to stop because a lot of times these guys will just somehow get your email or send out blanket emails to everyone, right? And sometimes you just get it. So you just have to be careful. Use your common sense. Use some logic. When you see these emails, like if you happen to see a weird looking email from Coinbase or one from Gemini or one from Ledger, you're like, that doesn't sound right, right? Most likely it's not. It's harder to detect, but there are a few clues. For example, you could look at the domain it's coming from. A lot of times they'll try to make it look like it's coming from Coinbase or Ledger, official domain, but it's not. Right. And also, when in doubt, when it comes to like crypto projects, wallets, emails like this, it's best just not to do anything. All right. Number 5, this talks about don't store crypto on exchanges. OK, for the most part, this is correct. If you can, take out your crypto and safeguard it yourself onto a wallet, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But this is overall just talking about the concept of exchanges. Exchanges do offer wallets. So when you're buying crypto on an exchange, it's being stored in a wallet for you, right? But exchanges have their limitations. They are controlled by someone, a team, a company. So that means they do have the ability to stop you from spending your crypto or using your crypto. They can lock you out of your account. They can stop withdrawals. They can stop deposits. And in rare cases, they can also be hacked as well. We have seen exchanges be hacked in the past. Some, they can withstand it. They have insurance. They get through it. Some cannot, and they go under, right? So you just don't know. So basically, storing your crypto on exchanges, it's not the best practice. It's better to safeguard your own crypto, like I've been saying. But for some, it's just too hard, or they're not willing to do that because it's too inconvenient. I get how some people just feel safer to have their crypto on Coinbase, something like Coinbase or Robinhood or Gemini, something like that, right? I get it. Honestly, the best is to safeguard your own crypto. So if you don't feel comfortable removing all of it, at least remove some of it, right? So that you're in control of it. So you don't have to worry about account seizures or closures or withdrawals being stopped, stuff like that, or even hacks on exchanges, okay? Keep your devices safe, okay? This is just best practice. I don't even really know what this means. It kind of relates to the phishing email. Basically, don't go anywhere that you're not supposed to. Don't download anything on your computer that you're not supposed to. Basically, you're just going to end up downloading a virus or a malware, and that's not good. So use your common sense, okay? Don't go anywhere that you're not supposed to. And of course, on your computer, make sure you have some kind of virus software, right? In case you do download a virus, at least you could catch it. So make sure you're up to date on that and you have something. If you're using Windows, it's already built in. If you're using a Mac, it's built in, I believe. But just to be sure, make sure your computer is updated and has the latest virus definitions. Now, number 7 is important. This relates to getting your crypto off the exchanges, right? The most secure wallet there is a hardware wallet. And I've talked about this a lot within the last month or so. With all the hacks and everything that people have gone through, people are looking to safeguard their own crypto. Hardware wallet, as you can see in this picture, it could be a ledger or treasures. Basically, it's like a fancy USB stick. These are called cold wallets because once you transfer your crypto within, or actually you're just really transferring your private key within, right? You disconnect this from any kind of network. So it's not connected to USB, not connected to Wi-Fi, not connected to Bluetooth. So basically, it makes it very, very hard for an intruder or hacker to get in because there's no network access in. And when you do need to use it, basically you plug it back into your computer. Now, why are hardware wallets so secure? Well, basically there's tri-factor authentication built in. There's a password you need to put on, you need to enter on the Trezor or Ledger, right? There's also a password in the software that you use to transfer. And then finally, you need to verify yes or no on a device before you send, right? So basically, an intruder, to be able to hack into it and transfer it, they need to be virtually right next to you and have this plugged in. Otherwise it makes it basically impossible for them to hack this, right? It's very, very secure. Now, it's a little bit inconvenient because it is not connected to the network, right? There are some devices like Ledger has an X1 that has Bluetooth capability, so it's kind of cold, kind of hot. But if you didn't want to spend money on a Ledger or a Trezor, you can get a non-custodial wallet, which is a software-based wallet that you control the key. So you could download it onto your phone, something like a Trust wallet that's very widely used. And you could download it on phone. It's your own wallet. Think about it. It's like your own bank account that you control, and you could transfer your crypto from the exchanges to it. It's more secure because you get to control it. You still have the security aspect to it. There's a password to it. There's also a password to get into your phone, right? So you have dual factor authentication, and you could add in another layer of authentication if you wanted to with Google Authenticator or Authy. But that's like the next best thing. It's not considered cold because it's on your phone, and your phone does have network access. Now, if you turn off network access, then it kind of becomes a cold wallet. What happens if your ledger gets stolen or lost or breaks? Same thing with your phone, right? With these kind of wallets, there is a recovery phrase. They tell you right off the bat when you create the wallet or when you set up your ledger for the first time, it will say, write these words down, okay? That is part of your recovery phrase. And as long as you have that, you're good, because you can always recover your wallet onto another device, another phone, or get another ledger or Trezor, and you can recover it, okay? So that phrase is actually the most important part. That is what you need to safeguard basically with your life, okay? Because with that, you could always recover your crypto and your private key. Without it, and you lose your device, then you're going to be in big trouble, right? So this is why I've said be careful when you're safeguarding your own crypto. You got to be careful. And the most important thing, I think, is probably safeguarding your own recovery phrase. Now, for me, I like Ledger a lot. I've been using Ledger for many, many years, right? So if you're interested, again, utilize my link in the description of this video. All right. Last few things. Enable two-factor authentication. This is important, and pretty much every exchange out there already force you to do so. Two-factor authentication just means that besides your username and password into your exchange account, right, you do need to enter another PIN code, passcode, right? And there's basically two-factor authentication apps that's widely used in the industry, Google Authenticator and Authy. And both of these, basically every 30 seconds or 15 seconds, sometimes faster, it will generate a new set of code, right? So without it, basically you can't log in. So it makes it very hard for hackers, even if they know your username and password. Say they hacked in. If they don't have the phone in front of them, if they can't see what the authenticator's passcode is, they can't log in. So this is very, very important. But like I said, almost every exchange out there, once you log in, they ask you to enable two-factor authentication right away. And it's pretty easy on your exchange. If you haven't done it, there's like a QR code, and on your phone, you download Authy or Google Authenticator, right? You add device, scan the barcode, and it'll add it in. And then finally, there's a code within the authenticator. Then you enter it into the exchange, and then boom, you're done. Okay, sounds more complex than it is. It's really actually easy to do. And once you have that done, make sure you don't lose your phone, okay? Because without it, it's very, very difficult to get back into your exchange account. Of course, it has happened before. Then you have to open a support ticket and prove who you are, right? You can still get it back, but basically it makes it impossible for hackers to get in. And with both of these apps, you can transfer to different phones. You can have a backup phone that has it already in case you lose your main phone or you get stolen or whatever, right? But just remember with this, don't just trade in your phone or don't wipe your phone, right? Make sure you have this backed up. All right, number 9 and 10, these are kind of like obvious things. Number 9 is keep your cryptocurrency holdings private, right? Basically, a lot of people like to brag how much crypto they have, right? Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't let people know how much crypto you have. Doesn't matter if you have 0.1 Bitcoin or 100 Bitcoins, right? Just don't let people know. Because if you start flaunting it and you're saying, oh, I have this much, right? You're just basically putting a target on your back. Why would you want to do that? Just don't do it. Just don't do it. And number 10 is don't send funds to wrong address. And this is important, but you know, it's basically self-explanatory. If you're going to be sending crypto from one wallet to another, make sure you double check and triple check the wallet address so you're not sending your funds to a wrong address. A lot of exchanges and wallets will detect the wrong address, like meaning if you're sending from one chain to another and the wallet, the address itself, it doesn't belong on a new chain, it'll kind of warn you and stop you, right? But if you're saying sending ETH from one wallet to another, make sure you double check the sending address, right? If you don't trust yourself, just send a little bit. Let's say you want to send 10 ETH. Instead of sending 10 ETH, send 1 ETH, just to make sure it goes through. Maybe even send lower, 0.1 ETH. Right? If the 0.1 ETH goes over just fine, then you know it's the right address, then send the remaining amount. So the way I handle is basically send a small amount first, then send the remaining amount just to be sure. Okay, so a lot of times, you know, there's a QR code like you see here. Sometimes there isn't. You have to copy and paste, right? But regardless, if you're sending a large amount, you know what? Just test it a little bit and then you'll be safe for sure, right, once it goes through. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Smash it a like, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. All right? Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.